Greetings and welcome to week 10 of our Mapping Our World course. Joseph Kursky here, your instructor. Pleased to be here with you. Today's focus, in fact, this whole week's focus will be on lying maps and data quality. Lying maps and data quality. Now, all maps have to tell lies. Or put another way, maps aim for the truth, but compromises have to be made. The data have to be symbolized, classified, and cast on a map projection, just to list three. As we have seen throughout this course, it is impossible to acquire all information and impossible to show on a map all the information from even a single data item, like a remotely sensed image. But in some cases, people or organizations are either purposefully trying to deceive or they inadvertently leave out key information, or are themselves not as knowledgeable about an issue that they are trying to communicate about. Remember, maps are representations of reality. They cannot display or show every single thing about our complex and wonderful world. Now, your readings this week will immerse you in projections, classification, symbolization, aggregation, with a nudge to getting you thinking critically about maps and data. That is really in essence, the whole purpose of this course, to get you thinking analytically and critically about mapping data and how powerful and amazing it is, but also being sensitive to all of the things that go into making maps. You're not just map consumers anymore. You're map makers, you're cartographers in this course and beyond. While aggregation, for example, can be very helpful in terms of preserving privacy or presenting a broader and synoptic view, it can also lead to the ecological fallacy. What's that? The ecological fallacy is the assumption that a characteristic or value calculated for a group in aggregate or combined can be applied to an individual member of that group. Let's say you live in a neighborhood and many people are dual income, no kids. Okay, maybe you're not that. Okay. You don't have a partner, you don't have a spouse, you're living by yourself. You're in that neighborhood where the predominant characteristic demographically is dual income, no kids, but you don't fit that. So if I were to say, well, everybody in that neighborhood fits this, you would say, no, and wait, my neighbor is not that either. So that's the ecological fallacy. Aggregated data, therefore, make it hard to assume or guess at the characteristics of any given individual found in that aggregate area, whether that aggregate area is a census tract or a block group or a zip code or a city or a county or a state or a region or a country. So it's very useful aggregating data. Again, we can't show all the nuances for even your neighborhood. That's much too complex. But again, care needs to be made. There are many ways, as you are finding out, that maps are modified in order to promote maybe a particular set of viewpoints, maybe a political perspective or an outcome. Now, political lies or also political inadequacies shown on maps can take the form of outright propaganda, which you'll see in this week, campaign advertisements, and politically motivated resource maps. One particularly important political purposefully manipulating to solve a problem by one particular, let's say, political party or one particular viewpoint is called gerrymandering. You've probably heard of this. Gerrry, mandering, mandering. The manipulation of the boundaries of an electoral constituency in order to favor a particular political party or a group. Because U.S. congressional districts are reapportioned in the years following the decennial census, like 2020, for example, political leaders in power may take the opportunity to redraw borders, even convoluted gerrymandered borders that favor their party's continued political success. So you'll be into that. You'll be digging into that issue, which is very key to our time, as it is after every election and after every decennial census. Other issues regarding accurate map portrayal, and that is contested borders. I've known several atlas editors over the years, political and physical atlases of the world, and they say, the borders are such an issue always, right? Not every border is peaceful around the world. Sadly, there are contested borders for various reasons, historical and otherwise. So we'll get into those. Commercial advertising. We'll get into some maps that have been disputed over the years. We'll also, in our activity, get into redistricting. So you'll actually be able to draw congressional borders inside Minnesota with a tool called Districtor, D-I-S-T-R-I-C-T-R, Districtor. And it's a fascinating tool, and you'll be able to see the population in each one of your districts, and then you'll be able to evaluate and see what the diversity is of that district, and see other characteristics of that district that you've drawn. Trying to keep the areas not with fingers that go all over the place, trying to keep them sort of a compact geographic unit, but also being a fair representation of the people in that area, and also coming up with roughly the same number of people in each one of those areas. You have to juggle all these things, and you'll be able to do that with this Districtor tool. There are other tools as well, but I thought this would be the most appropriate one for our course because it's easy, it's fun, and I think it's very instructive. Also, in the lab, you'll get into some poverty data and understand how different, again, classifications, aggregations, and interpretations of that data can lead to maybe different conclusions. That is week 10 of our Mapping Our World course. Because rasters and vectors are the maps we two can share. Rasters and vectors, key change, are the maps we two can share. All right, thanks. We'll see you in the course.